What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of What's in the Bag, Son, where I talk about a slew of films that I have bought in. This is going to be the films that I've gotten March and April, so 2 months worthy. I did a pretty big haul at the beginning of April, so there's going to be a lot of quantity and some quality in this video. I'm going to start off, like I usually do in this case, with films that I'm saving for 31 Days of Horror. So these are not films that I've seen before because all my 31 Days of Horror are first time watches. So I'll get those out of the way first. We got Jack and Jill, which I just found for real cheap on DVD. That comes with a slipcover and looks like my type of slasher, so we'll check that out. Headless Horseman, I saw the trailer, it looks campy as fuck, and I'm very excited to check that out for a cheesy good time on 31 Days. This one, a little weary, but I always like B films and low budget trash, so if it ends up being that but entertaining, then I'm good. If not, then it is what it is. We shall see. This is 31 Days of Horror. This is a film that I feel like a lot of people would crucify me as a horror fan for never seeing, but I've never seen it, so this is going to be a first time watch. Demons by Lamberto Bava, sorry. Love my Italian horror, so that is going to be a treat and a half. And lastly, we've got Dead Meat, which is an Irish zombie horror film, I'm pretty sure, from I think they were mentioning a lot of like horror films from Ireland during St. Patrick's Day, and this one came up. So I love zombie movies and I love films from the UK, so that should be a lot of fun. Continuing with films that some I have seen and just, the regular bunch. A lot of these, like I said, I got for such dirt cheap. Some were like 3 for $6. That's my favorite deals when it comes to films at my local video store. And the first is The Covenant on DVD, because this is not a film that I care a whole lot about getting on Blu-ray. It's a film I watched in my early 20s or mid 20s, and it kind of sucks, but it's pretty hilarious, and it fits right into that like 2000s Twilight era. It's more horror than Twilight is. It doesn't even compare. We're not praising Twilight here. But it's got that like early 2000s, every single person in the film is a supermodel, very emo-ish vibes kind of thing. And it's a really cheesy ass, corny ass movie, but it's entertaining, so that's all I need from a film. A first time watch for me is Domestic Disturbance, so I checked this out, bought it dirt cheap, and only watched it once. Have heard of it, and this is like the essential 3-star film for me. I don't give 3 stars to films very often. I don't like the 3-star rating because, I don't know, it's just, I don't really have a reason to be against the 3-star rating, but I'd rather go 2.5 if it's split down the middle, which makes sense, 2.5 out of 5, or 3.5, because usually I am not that hard to like impress when it comes to films, kind of thing. But this is like the essential 3-star film where it's just your basic thriller by the numbers. It's the film that would be beside the definition of thriller in the dictionary, kind of thing. That's how I look at that film. Vince Vaughn does good in it. He plays a dramatic role, obviously. John Travolta is amazing, and it's just your basic bitch of thrillers. There you go. It's your basic bitch of thrillers. This is a film that I'd never heard of before, but it was like $3. I picked it up. Still Life. It's a like art thriller, like practical arts. I mean like there's a lot of galleries and stuff like that. I don't mean like art house movie. I mean it has to do with the art industry, and it's weird. It's fucking weird. It didn't do well at all, and I think the marketing behind this film was just not there, so not a lot of attention was given to this film, and you can tell. But this is like kind of a hidden gem when it comes to weirdness. It's just fucking weird. If you can find this somewhere, it's not the greatest movie in the world. I think I gave it a 2.5, but it's weird. It's very weird. B-movie glory, we got Python, which is a killer snake movie. Venomous snakes, very sci-fi feeling, terrible CGI, but quite entertaining. It wasn't on the level of like some creature feature films that I've seen, but it's still fun. It's a Killer Snake movie, and you don't really need much from those. I mean, if you like Lake Placid, it's kind of like a poor man's Lake Placid kind of thing, essentially. We have a big one here. This is not cheap at all. At all. This cost me a pretty penny. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from Vinegar Syndrome, which is, like I always say, an incredible company. Comes with the amazing slipcover as usual, original artwork on the 4K itself, and then, because they want to be fancy, a bookend, I guess, whatever you want to call it, with the cool artwork looking as well. This is amazing. This is a 4K, and I watched this again when I got it for the first time in probably over 2 years, and it's a wacky film. Like, I don't know how to compare it to the first one because it is so vastly different, but it's not bad. I think my preference is on the original, and I like more Texas Chainsaw films than I hate. And this is definitely on the like side, and you gotta watch it simply just for Shock Top. Like, Bill Moseley's performance as Shock Top is just something for the history books kind of thing. It's very, very unique, to say the least. I made a review for this film on the channel very recently. This is Jersey Shore Shark Attack, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It's the Jersey Shore characters doing spoofs of Jersey Shore characters with sharks that come. And it's made for sci-fi. It's much gorier than you would expect from a sci-fi film. Usually they make sci-fi films like basically PG. But yeah, this is a strange one because there is no swearing in this movie at all. But there are certain scenes that are really like splattery gore, like a lot of spraying blood and shit like that. So it doesn't even say unrated or anything like that, but it's a film that is very annoying at times for obvious reasons, but it's also a lot of fun, and I had a good time with it. So, dropping shit. Age of Dinosaurs is another sci-fi dinosaur film with crap CGI, but this one is like on the higher scale of fun level, and this is one where they definitely show the dinosaurs a lot. A lot of sci-fi films that like have a bunch of dinosaurs in the cover, they'll show like one dinosaur for a minute and a half, and the rest is just people talking. I can't stand that. This is one of those that it does throw in a lot of albeit cheesy, corny, cheap dinosaur action. They still throw in a lot of it, so I appreciate it for that sense. We've got another Transformers film on Blu-ray to go with the collection because I want to get them all. I know they have like bad history and stuff like that, but I've never seen anything past Revenge of the Fallen at all. The Mark Wahlberg's ones kind of thing, I haven't seen any of them, so it'll be nice to marathon and maybe review, but I don't think these are gonna merit much of reviews. They're just fucking popcorn films. But I do want to kind of binge them all, and I'm looking for them with slipcovers. So this one was cheap as hell with a slip. Had to get it. This is a film that I only recently discovered and again found very cheap. The guy from Midnight Mass is in here. The guy who plays the priest, Father Paul. He plays this. This is like 10 to 12 years before Midnight Mass, I'm pretty sure. It's very, very art house, very independent. Like, this is a pure indie film, and it's cool. It's it's corny often. It's about a couple, and they're kind of going through like a turmoil-ish, and it's very hipster. It's a day or a week in the life of a couple that are extremely hipster, and very independent, good performances, but you're either gonna like it or hate it depending on how you feel about the characters, right? If they're very unlikable to you, you're probably gonna hate the film. If you like them a lot, you're probably gonna love it. I took the film for what it was, and I just thought it was a decent indie watch. Something that I would definitely check out the works of Miranda July, the director. It's stuff that I would see more from her, kind of thing. We got a foreign film here. This is Maria Full of Grace. I was on YouTube again a few weeks ago, and this is after I recently rewatched Sicario, which is one of the best cartel films ever. Sicario is a 5 out of 5. Honestly, if I could recommend like the most tense and suspenseful action thriller you can see, it would probably be Sicario. That would come up like off the top of my head first. And then I googled what's the best cartel films, and guess what was number one on every list? Sicario. But I watched some top 10 lists, and this one came up. And basically it's about girls that get hired in the cartel to transport drugs inside their bodies, and not in like the, you know, probing up the private parts, but actually swallowing them and then passing them through. So there's a lot of scenes in this film that are uncomfortable to watch and not that pleasant, and I think that holds the film back. It adds to the disturbing factor and the real life factor of the film, like this shit actually goes on. And there's like horrible characters in this film. Obviously all men, much older men, you know, treating these young girls as objects, kind of thing, as transport vehicles, essentially. That's all they are to them. Yeah, they bring drugs from Colombia to the United States, and it's just about a girl wanting to make money and her character study kind of thing. It's all right. It was a good film. Like I said, pretty uncomfortable to watch mostly, but I've also seen films done better in the same kind of style in comparison to this one. But it wasn't all bad at all. This is a film I watched a couple times and always wanted to buy it, and I'm shocked that this has not been released on Blu-ray yet. This is The Weatherman, and it stars Nicolas Cage. This is also an independent film. This is directed by Gore Verbinski. He directed the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy, and he also directed the horror film A Cure for Wellness, which is a massively fucked up film, especially for specific scenes in that movie. This is a drama. This is like an indie drama about a guy who's a weatherman and never taken seriously, and he's in a pure 100% midlife crisis, even though I don't really know what a midlife crisis is, because that's such a vague definition for a broad or very different individualistic circumstance, but that's a rant for another time. He's basically like lost in life, essentially, and he's having problems with his marriage. His son meets this I think he's a coach or something like that, and weird shit goes on with that friendship, and it's mostly a character study on Nicolas Cage's character, but it's filmed. Also, Michael Caine is in this film, portraying a really weird accent. I don't know if he's trying to portray an American accent, but it doesn't seem to be working, or I don't know if he's trying to kind of blend the two. But clearly he's playing a character who's originally from the UK but has been living in the United States for a while. So I don't know if that was done on purpose or if it was just very difficult for Michael Caine to do the American accent. However, his character is cool, and he plays the father of Nicolas Cage, and it just plays out like a really great, well done independent film. It's easily a 4 out of 5, and it's interesting. It's a film for discussion, hands down. It's a great film for like a film club or something you want to watch and then discuss afterwards. Really good movie. I want to see a Blu-ray from it. This is a film from the 90s, very early 90s, 1993, that I'd never seen before until now. First time watch on What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I've always known about it. I've always heard about it for Johnny Depp, and of course Leonardo DiCaprio playing a mentally challenged kid who is one of the best portrayals of a mentally challenged kid who's not mentally challenged in real life, and he just fucking blows it out of the water. I mean, this is Oscar shit without the Oscar. It's a shame how he didn't get it for this role, and then so many others afterwards. But this kid, the way he's able to portray this and make it so believable, and it's just it's a film that's great with its drama. It's really oddly paced sometimes because they throw in comedic moments, but a lot of the times they're just not funny. At least they weren't to me, and it just fluctuates a lot. It kind of has that Reign Over Me style with Adam Sandler and Don Cheadle, where it just went drama comedy like through the whole thing. It does that, and I don't know if it worked 100% for me, but the drama was the best part of the film, and just the storytelling, the music, the score is amazing. The way the story is told, the way the film is directed, and the writing in it, it just feels very, very small town. Like it's a perfect. It feels 90s. It feels like small town scale, kind of very country. Juliette Lewis is in here too. That's how you pronounce her name, right? Yeah, Juliette Lewis. She's great. And I give huge praise to this film. I thought it was fantastic. Another film that I've never seen before, which is crazy, because I've seen National Lampoon's Vacation, but never seen the original Vacation. And it's a shame because this is one of those circumstances that I bought the DVD, even though it was like $3, and the 4K is now just going to be released this summer, I'm pretty sure. I think they announced it. And it's really good. It's the fucking song Holiday Road just gets stuck in your head. Like I had an earworm of that song in my head for days after watching this film, and it just fits perfectly. And it's funny, man. It's like one of the best vacation films ever, and it's so obvious why it was so good. Now, what the hell was up with rating this film? Okay, because this is a family movie? What? How? In what universe is this a family movie? There's tits. There's a scene where he says fuck like 15 times in the car in front of his family. It's like, there's no like PG version and unrated version on this. I think it's just the same film. So when he's at the motel and he opens the shower curtain and there's his wife with her tits hanging, I'm like, how is this a family movie? This makes no sense. This is like, it has everything in it to be merited R. It feels like a family movie the way it's paced. Like it feels like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles kind of thing, even though Planes, Trains, and Automobiles also had that specific scene that turned it into an R rating. But this is motherfucking PG, Canadian. And, well, R in the States, okay, so that makes sense. But, fuck, like, I guess us Canadians are lenient. See, that's the thing with ratings and everything, like, and I say Canadians are lenient, but they're not with a lot of things. They're fucking, they can be snobby, they can be strict. The censorship in Canada is huge. You want to talk about censorship? Okay, I'm not going into that rant because that's going to get way too political. But it's just strange with ratings because, you know, a movie will get PG and then it's like loaded with F-bombs, but then one will get an R rating, and because it has like blood for 5 seconds, I don't know. But anyways, point being, this definitely merits its R rating for stuff that happens in it, and it was completely marketed as a family film. So I can't imagine how many people watched this film with their mommy and daddy, or mommies and daddies watching it with their kids, and it's like, Daddy, what's that? Yeah, great film though. Great, fantastic film. It's like 4.5 at least out of 5. Maybe even a 5 on another watch. This is a fun one, and I just started a review series on this. This is the Tremors films. This is the 6 of them. So the first 6, it doesn't come with Shrieker Island, but it comes with the first 6, and I'd never seen any of the Tremors. I bought this brand new, sealed, at a used store. So it was $40 Canadian, and then I got it because I had ordered it, and it came sealed with plastic and everything, so I was like, sweet, that's amazing. Limited collector's edition and Blu-ray, so there's no 4Ks in here, but yeah, it comes with the films and some special features with each. So I watched the first 2 so far, and now I gotta watch 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then 7, and there's gonna be reviews coming on the channel for all of those. Every Tremors film. I'm not gonna be reviewing the show probably, maybe sometime, but I have no plans thus far. But yeah, they're cool films. I loved the first one. I can see why it's such a classic. This is a Wild Eye film, and the thing about Wild Eye is they have more misses than hits for me. Sorry to say. That's my personal opinion. I'm not dissing the distribution company, but from what I've seen, they have many more misses for me than, I always have to say for me, not in general, than hits. This is a hit though. The Jurassic Dead is another dinosaur cheap movie, zombie movie, but here's what this film does. They use a practical dinosaur. I mean, there might be some CGI here and there, but for the dinosaur, it's a fucking built dinosaur. They built one. Can you believe it? A B-movie, low-budget film released from Wild Eye actually created a dinosaur, like a practical, actual, materialistic dinosaur? Crazy. It's fun. It's very short. I think this is like an hour and 5 minutes without the credits. And it's fun. It's cheap as hell. It's cheesy. But yeah, you get a fucking practical zombie dinosaur in there, and it is worth checking out just for that. We've got a film that I very recently heard of for the first time. Watched the trailer and looked awesome. Very tense. This is a thriller called Desierto. It's well, it's all in Spanish. It takes place on the border of either New Mexico or Texas, one of them, or Arizona might be. I forget the location, but it takes place on the American side, and there's constant people crossing the border to come into America, and this rogue vigilante dude, played by really scary performance actually by where is this fucking name? Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Blanked on his name there. Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays the villain, and he's a conservative rogue vigilante asshole from the United States that's all like America, and he's so extreme about it that he thinks that sniping and shooting down Mexican immigrants who are illegally crossing is the right thing to do. So you have a cat and mouse going on with him and a few people who want to cross the border, but specifically one guy in particular who's basically the guy who's like, there's a tense back and forth between them kind of thing. Now I can't say whether he makes it or not because I'm not going to spoil the film, but he's the main protagonist, and Buddy here is the main antagonist. It's shot very well actually. The cinematography is great. It's very disturbing. Obviously for some people it might be triggering too. I'm not one of those people. I don't get triggered by stuff like that. It's just realism. It sucks, but you can clearly tell who's the likable character and who's the not likable character. So but some people, might see or just even hear about the whole subject matter and not want to even give it a shot, which is no problem. Know what you're getting into. If that kind of stuff bothers you, there's nothing in this film that you're going to get on it. There's also an animal death in this film that's very, 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 very brutal. So, be warned on that. I got myself Justice League with a slipcover, and this was only like $15, so not bad at all. I don't mind these films. I have never seen Zack Snyder's Justice League yet, but I didn't mind this one. I also liked Batman v Superman more actually, and because this was cheap with the slip, I have no problem owning that film, and I would own, like I said, Batman v Superman as well. But they're fun popcorn films. That's all they are. I don't love them. I don't love the Marvel films. They're just fun, and I saw it cheap with a slip, so worth getting. A much better action film, Speed. Classic. Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock in here. For anybody who hasn't seen this film, this is an action spectacle. Like, man, this like rivals with like Die Hard and films like that, being that they came out around the same time, and they are like very action forward, but very classically action forward in the sense where they inspired clearly so many films that came afterwards. So I love this film. This is like, if it's not a 5 out of 5, it's very close. I think everything about this film is perfect when it comes to action specifically. Like, just shit blowing up and tense situations. it's amazing, amazing. I bought this film blind. Never seen it before, but it won an Oscar. Lincoln with Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis obviously kills it in the role. To be honest, I found this film boring as hell and pretty equivalent to watching paint dry. I have to watch it again. Like I said, I bought it. If I had watched it streaming first, I probably wouldn't buy it, but it wasn't that much. It was under $10 and it came with a slip, and I'll watch it again. But overall, when it comes to an award winner, that's one of the more slow ones by far, by far. Lastly, we've got Wander. I recently did a review for this on the channel too, so if you want my full thoughts on it, go check that out. But it was all right. We're dealing with conspiracy theorists, and it's a drama thriller, and we got amazing performances, obviously, by Aaron Eckhart in a role that he typically doesn't do, style-wise, and then Tommy Lee Jones, legendary. And there's a lot going on in this film that I don't think the runtime of the film could handle. It's just way too much exposition, and it's like so much that pretty much all of it is left unconcluded, and I just couldn't get behind that too much. I wish there was more of it. It would make a phenomenal miniseries probably, but as a feature-length film, it needs more watches. It was also very, very confusing for the majority of it, and it just needs to be rewatched a lot more. But it was filmed great, it looks fantastic, and the performances are all great, so it merits rewatch for sure. It's not boring whatsoever, and it keeps you guessing, even though a lot of those guesses are like, what's going on? But that's what makes it rewatchable, right? That's everything. That's the months of March and April, and I'll be back with another What's in the Bag Son when I have enough films to show. And yeah, until then, check out my other reviews for everything else, and subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon. Stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.